Hello everyone, welcome to Physics Talk, Model 2 Conversions. I was going to add acceleration to this one, but conversion examples took a little longer than I expected, so we're going to keep this one as short to one video tonight. It has 4 examples, so it'll be good practice for you. Alright, so our learning objective is just to know how to convert from one unit into another unit. Sometimes those units are combined of 2 units, like miles per hour and feet per second. Others are just single units. And again, we're going to be using mathematical and computational thinking. And really, we're going to have to pay attention to patterns, paying attention to which unit is in the numerator and denominator. And of course, anytime you multiply anything, understanding scale, proportion, and quantity. So conversions, basically the purpose of conversions is really simple. It's to allow you to change the units to something you understand, to something that you can compare to so that they have the same units. Because we live in a world, unfortunately, where there's a lot of different units. So let's go to the video. Okay, so when doing conversions, again, the purpose of conversions is to allow you to change the units to something you understand. So sometimes when you get big numbers like 565,900 seconds, and they ask you to change it into hours, this we don't understand, but if it's in hours, I can understand it better. And so there's a chart of conversions I have here. I would suggest you at least copy down the hours to seconds. 1 hour is 3,600 seconds. I would suggest you write down 1 meter equals 3.28 feet. We don't need the kilograms to pounds, although maybe in a future chapter we will, but not as of now. We're just doing length and time right now. 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters is probably a good one to have as well. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. 1 kilometer is 0.621 miles. Again, we don't need pounds to kilograms right now, but it's probably good to have in the future. 1 yard equals 3 feet. You probably already know that. And then, of course, we don't need the light second right now or the quart. So if I were to do this, the idea of conversions is I just want to change the seconds into hours. And to do that, I got to pick my conversion to do that. And when you look at the list, you can see that 1 hour equals 3,600 seconds. So I'm going to write that down. 1 hour equals 3,600 seconds. So then when I set this up, I do 565,900 seconds. This is my given. Whatever is given, I always put on this side. And then whatever I'm trying to find for conversion, this is a given. And whatever I'm trying to find, I put over here. And since I'm looking for hours, I'm going to put hours over here. And then what we do is we make a decision. We need to decide how to put this as a fraction. You saw that in the textbook. How do I change this into a fraction? Well, if I want to make sure, I have 2 options. I can put 1 hour and 3,600 seconds on the bottom, or I can put 3,600 seconds on top and 1 hour on the bottom. And the question is, how do you decide? Well, this is what determines it. Since seconds is what I'm trying to get rid of, and it's in the numerator, I need to put seconds in the denominator to cancel it out. And then I put the 1 hour on top. The seconds will cancel. And then on my calculator, whatever is in the numerator I multiply by, whatever is in the denominator I divide by. So in this case, I'll take my 565,900 times 1 hour, and I'm going to divide it by 3,600 seconds. So 565,900 divided by 3,600. Notice I'm not multiplying by 1 because anything times 1 is itself. And I get 157.1 or 0.2 because 9 causes the 1 to round up. So 157.2 hours, or if you wrote 157 hours, I would take either one of these answers. Okay? So that's how we convert the first one. So now looking at the second one, how do I change 43 miles into feet? And again, I look up on my list, and I can see up here, I got 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. So I'm going to write that down. Equals 5,280 feet. And so how many feet is 43 miles? Again, this conversion is probably not something we would do directly, but it becomes a skill we need later. So this is 43 miles. Again, this is the given. Goes over on this side. What we're trying to find goes on the other side. And then when I do my conversion, again, I make the decision what belongs in the denominator, and because miles is given, I want to cancel it out. I put the 1 mile on the bottom, 5,280 feet on top, and then the miles will cancel. So then I go 43 times, and because it's in the numerator, it's now times 5,280. And again, I could divide by 1, but because I already have anything divided by 1 is just itself, that's all I need to multiply. So then I take those two, and I get 227,040 feet. 227,040 feet. Sorry, I forgot to put that feet down there, didn't I? But that's what I'm trying to find is feet. So there's my answer right there, 227,040 feet. All right, so the next question you can see barely on here, 60 miles per hour into feet per second. So this is where things get a little complicated because now I have two things I'm paying attention to. Miles changing to feet, hours changing in the second. So this is the part that they were showing you in the textbook. And again, I need to list out everything that I know. So going back to my list up here, I know that 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. I also know that 1 hour equals 3,600 seconds. So using that as my givens, and now I'm going to scroll back up on my screen here. So I'm given that I got 60 miles per hour, and I want to rewrite this. So it's actually a fraction, and you saw this in the textbook, 60 miles per hour. And I want to change it into feet per second, so what I'm trying to find is feet per second. And in general, I try to line up this line, my division line, so that they're all lined up. And so now again, I set up my conversions. Well, I've got two this time, two conversions. So I want to set up two conversions. And so with the hours, I see that for me to cancel out the hours, I need to put hours on top. I can either put it here or I can put it there. So I'm going to save the hours for the second one. So I'm going to put the hour here. And so that means 1 hour equals 3,600 seconds. And you'll notice with my seconds on the bottom, it matches this seconds on the bottom. With my mile, since the mile's on top, I want to put the 1 mile on the bottom. And then I'm going to put the 5,280 feet on the top. So again, the feet shows up, and that's what I'm looking for. This is perfect. My miles cancels, and even all the way across here, this hours will cancel because it's top and bottom. And again, the process is I take my number here, I multiply whatever's in the numerator, and divide by anything in the denominator. And so sometimes I see people use this and say divided by 1 times 3,600. It shouldn't be that way. It should be divided by 1 divided by 3,600 on the calculator. So when I plug that in, this is how it should look. 60 times 5,280 times, I'm just going to go through the 1. That 1 is sitting there. Divided by 1 divided by 3,600. So anything in the bottom I divide by, press equals, and I get 88 feet per second. And so there's my answer, 88 feet per second. Now let's go backwards. And going backwards, it's asking me feet per second into miles per hour. I use the same conversions again. 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. That's going to allow me to get from feet to miles. And then 1 hour equals 3,600 seconds. And so my given in this case will be 1,100 feet. And again, I want to put all divided by seconds. That's what I'm given. What I'm trying to find, I put over here. That's going to be miles per hour. Again, I try to line those up just right here, line that up all the way across. And so again, I've got two conversions, so I need to make sure I set up 2. And in this first one, I'll do just like I did before, I'll do my distance first. Since feet is on top, feet has to go on the bottom. 5,280 feet, 1 mile. And then since seconds is on the bottom, I need seconds on the top here to cancel. So 3,600 seconds, and then 1 hour on the bottom. My seconds cancel. And then when I do all this, again, I pull out my calculator, And again, this 1100 times 1 times 3600 divided by 5280 divided by 1. And so I go 1100 times 1 times 3600 divided by 5280 divided by 1. All of that equals 750 miles per hour. So there you have it. That's how we do conversions. If you have any questions, again, come into tutoring. That's your physics talk for today.